You saw your Sugar in
So
flames.
your Sugar, I saw my Sugar.
Oh, it was my Sugar. And saw my Sugar. I saw my sugar level spike.
It's comedy. All right, another episode of the Comedy is Metal. This comedy podcast. We can cut that if that was too stupid.
Is that really real?
All right.
What's this in the background you got going, Mario? Is that
Some backing tracks.
you jamming out?
Yeah, man. I got nothing else to do with like my mild talent, so I made this podcast so that I could have an excuse to record some music.
Right.
Some generic
You've been forced into
hard rock. Yeah.
Now, how come my you see how my sound wave looks so smaller than yours?
Well,
what's up with that?
Because you're talking like a bitch.
We're talking like a man.
I just raised yours to the highest amount. So.
Comedy is metal. Is comedy.
Yeah, I just raised yours a lot, but
That looks a little bit better.
yeah.
I think. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna have to do some of the work. You're gonna have to
Put you in the right speaker, me in the left speaker, and be like, and Brad over here on the left.
Because if anyone knows Brad, he's known for his timid personality and quiet voice.
My meekness, my humbleness. The most humble, the most meek.
I was just thinking of when we wrote the song in Rip Torn. I take a fifth or drink a fifth, plead the fifth.
Drink a fifth, plead the fifth.
Yeah. One of the lyrics of that song was pull your pants down in the middle of the brass mug.
Based on a true story. Apparently, from what I'm told. Welcome to episode number
4 or 5 or 3. Because the way we put them up on the YouTubes, the first one was the
Mario,
pilot.
First edit note. I want you to insert the correct episode number. Welcome
This
to
is
episode number
4. Okay.
All right. Now that we have that corrected.
It is late. We're used to doing this in the middle of the day, and it is like 8-something p.m. But that's cool because we've got lots of comedy and metal to talk about.
Lots of comedy and metal news. This is true. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I realized, so preface. Remember that episode of The Simpsons where Homer becomes a food critic?
This is comedy news, people. Yes. What?
But do you remember that episode?
Yeah, I remember.
So, he gets in trouble because he just can't stop saying everything is great, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
So, he gave... Was that, he's like, you gave this pizza 12 thumbs up? And he's like, well, lost some points because it had a Hot Wheel on it because I found it under the couch or whatever. I was writing down this list of things, right? I was doing a list of recent things. So there's the Weird Al movie. There's the new Beavis and Butthead. There's a couple comedy specials that are out. Neal Brennan special blocks. Ari Shaffir's it's called Jew on YouTube. Then there's
surprised it didn't make it to YouTube. I mean, there has to be a website.
Yeah, it's just called YouTube.
Whoa!
Oh god, this is
been
not
canceled
the time to be
with the
making
Kanye committee.
It's oh Jesus Christ! Yeah, I did want to talk about Kanye, but not positively, but
Dave Chappelle on SNL again.
Dave Chappelle on SNL. But anyway, so my point before talking about Kanye, my point about all of these new things that have come out,
right? Which one
and
of those?
Also I there's been some shows lately, right? We actually saw Todd Barry live, right? So.
But what is the matchbox on your pizza?
Here's the thing. I'm such a bad reviewer. I probably shouldn't be doing this right now because my review of all of them is that's great. This is great.
I see.
I love it. I love all of it. The Weird Al movie was amazing. I would watch it again.
Okay, well, let's start there. The Weird Al movie.
New Beavis and Butthead, hilarious.
Let's start with what we...
Neal Brennan special, great. Ari Shaffir special, great.
Okay.
I went and saw Meshuggah and In Flames. Guess what? They did great.
I get it. I get
like
it.
I don't have anything else to say. All right, podcast is over.
Everything is great. Well, let's start. I'll kick off the negativity. I'll kick off the negativity for the episode.
Okay.
And say I did not like the Weird Al movie.
What?
This is coming from the biggest Weird Al fan.
Apparently not.
Weird Al is the inspiration for my love of music.
Really?
No joke.
What's the story there?
Oh, the story is, okay, you remember Home Alone, when that movie came out, Home Alone?
Yes.
He had that little tape recorder thing. Remember that little tape recorder he had? He's like, oh, I'm Kevin McAllister, and I'm recording a tape for some reason.
I mean,
he had it, or maybe it was on the second one.
Didn't he use that as part of his, like, booby traps?
That was a Christmas gift I got, and the thing I did with it was record Weird Al. I heard him on the radio. And like I recorded it with it and like listen to the tapes. Lasagna, the take on La Bamba, right?
Oh, was that? Yeah. Wow.
His cover of La Bamba.
That's old Weird Al.
That was like, because I was such a goofy kid, I just laughed my head off, and I'm like, wow, music is funny.
The Weird Al song that my friends and I were obsessed with in like 2nd or 3rd grade was Albuquerque.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the really long one.
You see, I've been a seasoned, experienced Weird Al fan.
But I would say like that
that point, and that was the tour I saw him live on the Running with Scissors tour.
No shit.
Which I believe that was the album that had Albuquerque. Which, yes, that classic. As soon as it came out, that song was like, holy shit. I mean, a 12-minute opus to nonsense and the
I said Johnny Bear Claws, man. He goes,
the weasels.
No!
Yeah. That's what I do have.
But so you're a big Weird Al fan. I loved him as well. I like a lot of his.
I was tied down and forced to eat sauerkraut just like every other Weird Al fan out there. But having said all that,
there's a song from the album Poodle Hat called "Why Does This Always Happen to Me?" It's actually an original. And the lyrics are fucking brilliant, dude. It's just about this guy who's just like fucking up everything in his life, but constantly going, why does this always happen to me? And I remember like, even as a kid listening to that, just thinking like, I know adults like this.
Okay, let me ask you this. Have you seen his or heard his cover of R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet?
Oh, I did.
It's like going through the drive-thru or some shit.
Yeah, trapped in the yeah.
Somebody made an animated version of it on YouTube.
But it wasn't him?
No, it's like they made it for him.
Oh, cool.
And it's great. Check it out. Okay, so pause the podcast. Go watch that video.
Okay, what a great video.
Wasn't that hilarious?
That was amazing.
So anyway, this Weird Al tangent is related to
the movie that I loved a lot.
That just came out on the Roku channel.
Yes.
So the first thing that Roku channel has made that's interested anybody is this Weird Al
and it
movie.
was based on was it Funny or Die or College Humor?
It's Funny or Die.
It was based on the Funny or Die like little short that they did where they were pretending that there was going to be a Weird Al movie that came,
I didn't even know that was a
Aaron
short.
Paul from what do you call it? Breaking Bad. He played Weird Al in it, but it was like a fake trailer.
Okay.
That came out like a long time ago, like maybe a decade ago. But that was called like Weird, the Story of Weird Al or something like that. And that fake trailer ended up eventually becoming this movie with its own trailer that was different but also funny. Anyway, so you didn't.
I didn't like it.
What are you at?
It was just too manic for me. I think it was too like obviously like they're like winking at the camera like, hey, we're goofing around here. We're having fun. Like Walk Hard had more subtlety than this movie.
Well, I love Walk Hard.
And Walk Hard is
one of my
very
favorite
obnoxious movie.
But Walk Hard is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I mean Walk Hard is a straight up spoof, but this one just seems so like it's almost like they're just announcing this is a spoof of every scene, like writing a subtext scroll, like we're spoofing movies right now, like.
But I mean, it is Weird Al. I mean, like that's what he does in his songs.
Okay, good point. Good point. So
when you're hearing "I Love Rocky Road,"
I guess maybe I missed the ultimate irony of it. But here's what I remember from it: like at some point, like Madonna tries to go out with him to get him to cover her song.
Yeah, for the Weird Al bump.
That's funny, but I'm just like.
Well, and they went.
I got distracted. I started doing laundry or something. Like it didn't capture my attention. So I guess I'm just an outlier.
No, I mean, I had some friends who like posted on social media that they didn't like it. I just think like
I've heard great reviews too across the board. That's why I watched it.
yeah, I would wonder if because I watched it with like two other people, and so it was like an event, and so I wonder if that makes a difference because
Oh,
I wonder
yeah.
if like watching it and sharing it with other people
I
and all
was
laughing
alone
together
at my house
because it's
watching it.
really one of those movies that like every scene is it is what you're talking about, right? Every scene is ridiculous and also like a many times I would like point at the TV and go like, "Oh, look what they're doing there!"
Yeah.
I even
It's
loved
like you
like
could throw the Leo DiCaprio meme where he's like pointing at the screen.
yeah, but like they're like at the party where they had all the people like because every rock movie has has at least one scene where you meet all these other famous rock or Hollywood people or musicians. Walk Hard had the great scene with the Beatles.
Oh right, all those guys playing the Beatles in India. Well, so anyways,
but like I even thought it was hilarious that like you know that there's gonna be someone from Queen and you figure it's gonna be Freddie Mercury and instead it's like their bass player and everyone just keeps asking him who he is like
oh, I didn't see that. That's kind of funny.
yeah, no, the party scene I think probably stands out amongst other scenes. But then there's the end, which was absolutely absurd too, where like Madonna becomes the new El Chapo or whatever.
Madonna becomes the next El Chapo.
Yeah, did you not watch the whole movie?
I did not watch the whole movie.
Dude, watch the whole movie.
All right. So my book report for next podcast.
I mean, here's the thing: you're not going to come back and go, "It was brilliant." It wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was a Weird Al movie.
I'll just say this: I guess maybe me reading all the reviews beforehand and go like, "Wow, this is actually a brilliant movie." What?
Oh,
okay,
so you
I guess I'll
expected
watch
some
it.
next level
I was
humor?
expecting another Walk Hard. I just don't think it lives up to that hype.
It doesn't. No, I think it like it does exactly what you would expect. Like, so Walk Hard was a John C. Reilly comedy movie. This was a Weird Al comedy movie. They're going to be different things, even though they're both doing the same thing. And Walk Hard was, Judd Apatow.
Walk Hard was a Dewey Cox movie. This is a Weird Al movie. But speaking of not living up to the hype, subject change.
Okay.
New Metallica.
Oh, the new song! I've only heard the one song, Lux Eterna.
Right, Sucks Eterna. What was it? Oh,
wait. So what? Okay,
Lux,
what do you think
Lux.
of it? Do you like it or not like it?
I'm like, meh.
Well, I mean, okay. Are you like mad just because it's like sounds like something from the 80s?
It sounds like any kind of like average speed metal band, like some new speed metal band. Like, hey, we're gonna play. We won't sound like Metallica. So like,
yeah.
like, whoa, Lars can play double bass. Like, big whoop. It took
Finally,
30
though.
years.
Like, yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I think I liked it because it was refreshing. I wrote a Facebook post about it where my review was it's great, and then my description was just about how adequate it was. Like, it was literally just Lars not sucking. Like, Lars played drums like a decent, not even metal, a decent hard rock drummer, and his drum kit didn't sound like shit. And it was fast. It had that old school Motorhead fandom
Motorhead sound. I'll give it that.
And then the solo still sucked because Kirk Hammett will never write a good solo after Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
Or I guess he had some good solos on Puppets. I could give him that. But
I'll say this: I am no longer attuned to any Metallica hype at this point. Anything they put out, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll check it out. But they're never gonna be Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, because those early albums had more,
Well, I mean, they were younger.
Burton,
they were younger then than we are now,
Dave Mustaine influence.
Yeah, but also, I mean, dude, like Metallica, those guys, they're very rich, right? And they're also
and they're having fun. It sounds like they're playing. They're like, let's have fun with it. Let's try some speed metal.
And honestly, like that was one of those things. The way you describe that is how I think of all of the old classic bands whenever they release something new now. Judas Priest had an album called Firepower a couple years ago, and it was just pure fun. It wasn't complex. And first of all, it's KK Downing isn't in the band anymore, so they just had fill-ins anyway. Glenn Tipton has Parkinson's, So like, there's only so much he can actually do to play. But like, Rob Halford got to get up there and scream, and they put out an album full of tracks that were each like 4 minutes long, and it was fun. It's not classic Priest,
Yeah.
but it's fun, you know. Iron Maiden did the other approach. They put out like a two CD album filled with like these songs that were each like, you know, these 8 to 12 minute epics that weren't really all that epic because they've done it all before, and it was just boring. But again, if Iron Maiden puts out a new album, I'll listen to it and I'll be like, good for them, they're still doing it. But I'm not gonna like. It's not like Lorna Shore, who we've made fun of on a previous podcast, who it turns out actually fucking rules.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you brought them up, because I was going to mention something about that. We had talked about Lorna Shore previously, and maybe I brought this up on a previous podcast. I don't remember that.
I don't know,
but I'm not sure how recent this news is, but they sold out every show on their tour.
Oh, I believe it.
And like it's the first metal tour to do that in a long time, apparently. Like selling out these huge venues, each show on a long ass tour. So I mean, they're huge, man. Like you don't realize how big these bands are.
Well, I mean, they are exceptional because they've already had a career, right? Like they've been around for probably a decade or so. Not or so, but like around a decade maybe, and they've gone through, I think, 2 other singers, and they were just kind of. I've listened back to their catalog. It was just generic deathcore, which whatever. But then I don't know the actual story of their songwriting. They had this guy Will Ramos who like filled in on one of their tours, and then they decided he would be permanent, and then it just so happens that correlates with them writing way more interesting songs, and their most recent album that they put out, Pain Remains, I want to say. It's actually like really. I've listened through the whole album, and it's like it's fantastic, but it's better than their old stuff. But they're young enough, and Will Ramos, he's like a kid. He's like maybe 20. I don't know. I don't actually look up facts, but but they're young enough to be like
they're vocalists. Will Ramos.
Yeah. They're young enough. I'm sure they are on. In fact, I'm Lorna Shore. They are on TikTok and all of the new.
So you're gonna guess what label they were on?
Is it Metal Blade? I
give you one more guess.
Fuck. What's the other one that all the metal bands are on? Century something or other.
Century Media.
Got it.
And it's so funny. So I had to look up to see when they started. I always consult with
Wikipedia,
Metal Archives.
Because we're on it.
Metallum. So Metallum says
Encyclopedia Metallum.
Encyclopedia Metallum. Shout out.
We are both on there.
Metal-archives.com for the uninitiated. Okay, so they started in 2009, and they've got a shit ton of albums. And Pain Remains 2022. And here's a note on the band.
Okay.
The band was accepted into the Metal Archives based on Pain Remains.
So the Metal Archives.
It literally is like noted on their profile. It says like all their other shit is not metal. But their new album is metal, so now they're on the Metal Archives.
That is some metal snobbery, dude. Like, they were a well-known deathcore band, and you can't, like, you can say deathcore's good, you can say it sucks.
No.
You can't say it's not metal.
Actually, according to the Metal Archives...
Dude, how is it that Rip Torn, a Tampa, not even favorite, just a Tampa band, is on there?
Right.
And Lorna Shore, who was putting out major releases.
Right, they just got on there this year.
Good for them. I mean, their new album is actually very good, though. So,
well, it just goes to show you that there is a definite divide in the community about what is metal, right? And like people want to like codify it, and you know, Metal Archives have a strict policy. They really do. And you can try to talk them into.
They have a one metal policy.
Like they have a forum, so you go on there. You can like be like, "Hey, why isn't Disturbed on here?" And like, "Oh, because Disturbed is a groove rock band and they're not metal." or some shit. You know, they have some. They've debated it before. They point to the thread that they debated it back in 2006. Like back in 2006, we decided that Disturbed sucks. So yeah, they're
I mean, fair enough.
You can come in and say, well, listen, man, their new album was like with Lorna Shore. You can say, hey, their new album was certainly metal. And they go, you're right. We'll add them, but we're gonna put a little
asterisk.
Yeah,
They forever have an asterisk next.
Just know that this band used to suck.
That's funny. I mean, like, you use Disturbed as an example. Disturbed they're hard rock. They're not metal, right?
Right.
But Lorna Shore is. If you look at the.
But see, that's what I'm saying. There is a fine line.
But like, okay,
but to your grandma or whoever, it's a random granny person. Welcome home. To the lay person, they go like, well, of course Disturbed's a metal band. Of course Lorna Shore's a metal band. They scream and play guitars, right? Like,
right. But I think.
So there's layers to it.
My parents and aunts and uncles all can tolerate Disturbed, whereas they're
down with the sickness.
I wouldn't say they're down, but they understand the sickness.
I see.
But okay, deathcore again. You might say deathcore sucks, but deathcore is very metal. The whole point of deathcore. Sum it up in one word: heavy. Right. The whole point of deathcore is to be heavy. It's not to write good songs. It's not to have interesting riffs, interesting solos, interesting drums. It's to be heavy, right? Yeah. You listen to one of those fucking deathcore bands. I'm drawing a blank at all of them, but they, other than Lorna Shore's new album, Pain Remains, they all sound the same, and they're all fucking heavy. It's all let's get to the breakdown. Let's stay on the breakdown for a while. Oh, you thought that breakdown was a breakdown? Nope, psych. That was the pre-breakdown. This is the real breakdown.
Right.
Oceano is an example of that. I remember I was briefly in a band with a guy who loved them, and I couldn't stand them. But they're just we're gonna go. And you think that's a low growl? Check out this lower growl. I'm gonna go even lower now. So that is you might say it's noisy, you might say it's not talent, but it's metal though.
Well, I think
it's definitely metal.
I've definitely tried to understand the elitist point of view, and my understanding of it is this. I'll put it this way. Imagine you can flip it either way. Say punks are humans and metals are like robots or some shit, or punk is robot and metal is human. At what percentage, if you're 60% robotic parts, at what point are you no longer human?
So you're like one of the Cylons from the newer Battlestar, and not
so
from
a deathcore band could be considered like an android or is it a cyborg or an android? I forget this is not a sci-fi podcast, so we can't discuss that.
How's that one Megadeth song go? Part bionic, not a cyborg.
Okay, we'll use that as our basis for science.
That's from Countdown. I forget the name of this song.
But anyway, I think so deathcore is supposed to be death metal and hardcore. Well, any percentage of hardcore makes it punk, therefore makes it part robot.
Okay, question.
Therefore not human,
is
not
DRI
metal.
On Encyclopedia Metallum? I bet they are.
Yeah. Because
their whole thing is that they're crossover punk and
because
metal,
they're crossover thrash metal.
Well, they're with punk, right? Their whole thing is that they
/ punk.
Yeah, thrash punk. Yeah.
So that's what. Yeah, you're right. There's a line, but where it sits, it's delineated constantly.
I don't think there's a lot of science behind it.
Oh no, I think it's like 4 or 5 mods on a website just going I think I don't know. Nope. Breakdowns, not metal.
Right, yeah. I mean, honestly, I was that guy, right? I was the guy in high school who, if I had a friend who liked As I Lay Dying or Atreyu, I'd be like, oh, it's not metal. But,
Right. What was the shirt that, there was a classic shirt that had the back that said, your band should break up, not down?
I never saw that shirt, but I...
And no karate in the pit.
I do remember the no karate in the pit.
We don't want hardcore dancing here because this is a metal show, man.
Yeah, But fortunately, I mean, I do think that we've talked about this before. I think that things are those lines are getting blurred all the fucking time now. And I just think it's cool. Like, okay, so when I saw Meshuggah, it was Meshuggah, In Flames, and the band that opened for them, the worst for not remembering names, was like a stoner metal kind of band. Oh, Torch was the band.
Torch. Oh, Torch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, kind of like a stoner groovy kind of vibe to them. I got there late because traffic was a nightmare, but I didn't realize it was in Universal. I thought I didn't even know where the show. I knew it was in Orlando.
It was in Universal?
Well, like it was at the Hard Rock.
Oh, the Hard Rock at Universal.
In Orlando,
okay.
In Florida.
I saw Ministry there once.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen. I think I saw Megadeth there. In Orlando, a lot of shows are either at the Hard Rock or at the House of Blues. Hard Rock's at Universal, House of Blues is at Disney. Both of them are fucking terrible venues for shows because you have to park.
Now I'm not sure where I saw Ministry.
Yeah, well, and honestly, yeah.
Is that one of those?
They're very similar places. The House of Blues is less friendly to metal because it's Disney. Like, I remember I saw Anthrax there, and, like, they didn't allow moshing. Like, seriously didn't allow moshing. Like...
And Anthrax like, we're going to play Caught in a Mosh.
Yeah, Joey Belladonna
we're going to call it Not Allowed to Mosh.
He said to the security guys, he's like, this song is called Caught in a Mosh. It's about moshing. That's part of the song. And, like, on one hand, power to him for advocating or whatever, but on the other hand, it just sounds so lame. Like, dweeby. Right. Like, please, sir, can we mosh? And they kind of let us mosh a little bit.
That just reminded me of a video I saw. Speaking of security guards, they show, it says, like, you can see the security guard doesn't listen to death metal.
Oh,
and the corpse grinders are like, this next song's about bleeding from your cock. And the guy just like looks at it, he's like, what the fuck?
Anyway, so topic jumping as we always do.
Oh, we were talking about shows. So you saw your Meshuggah.
I saw your Meshuggah. I saw my Meshuggah.
Oh, it was my Meshuggah. And saw Meshuggah.
Yeah, and Torch
I saw Meshuggah level spike. I saw Mercyful Fate.
Yes, you did with Creator and Midnight, right?
Which was funny that nobody was moshing during midnight. I almost started to pit myself because I was so into it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I got my drunk just right at the right point.
Oh,
right when they started playing.
I love the good time
and
drunk.
Hit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when the good feelings hit all at once.
Yeah.
And midnight starts playing. It's like, oh man, they're playing that one too. Oh, they're playing that one next.
So just hit after hit after hit.
And then I can't even name the songs now. Like I don't even know them that well. But at the moment, they were my favorite songs of all time.
Of course.
And then Creator, Pit, of course, started for Creator.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Madness, and then Mercyful Fate. I just kind of was more in the back.
Right, they're not a pit band, but it's cool that they brought. I love tours like that where like
there were some people that were bouncing around during Mercyful Fate.
Well, of course, I mean they have
a little annoying, but like they were bouncing around and pushing around just enough to be like, okay, come on, guys, like.
Or were they
I know you're having fun.
Were they pretending to mosh just so they could get to the front?
No. They were just like so into it. It's like,
okay, yeah.
Oh, hey, Ricky, this one, you know this one. Yeah, oh shit, man. I'm like, okay, guys, I know I'm into it too, but you're bumping into this guy, and dude, this one dude was like, I saw this dude like, Charlie, like, babe, I'll fucking, and he pulled back his
God damn it,
fist,
really?
And then the other dude who was being pulled back reached out and touched his face, and he just touched his face. He's like rubbing his cheek,
like to mock him,
and I don't even know. I thought he was trying to like either mock him or try to console him. Either way, I got up between them and I said, like, that's enough, guys. And I just stood right there between them.
Look at Brad being the moderator.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm like the mother goose out there protecting my hens.
That's how I think of you.
I mean, I'm like Father Goose protecting his nuts.
So I will say this, at all of the shows I've seen recently, all two of them, because I also saw Iron Maiden, I made sure to do something that I've never thought I would do, which is have seats. I did not want to do standing room. So when I saw Meshuggah with In Flames, because I don't know the
That
band.
was standing.
Well, there's a balcony, so I got the balcony seats.
Okay.
And I was by myself, so I got myself a little balcony.
Wait, did you
seat.
go to Iron Maiden with Brandon?
Yeah, and Mike and Julia. Yeah.
But
like, so
I saw that he made a post about the tickets, right? I think.
Yeah.
I saw that like right as he posted it. I was like, dude, I could probably reach out and say something. But
would you have come? I didn't think you liked Maiden very much.
But. I don't, but I mean, they're like a band that I would want to see just to say I saw them. Like if Kiss played again, and I could get a free ticket or get a cheap enough ticket, I'd probably go see that. Like all the classic bands, Judas Priest, I guess.
I've done that a little bit. I know what you mean. Like,
but Iron Maiden for sure. I almost thought about reaching out to him, but
yeah. Well, what ended up happening was fucking someone else was supposed to come with us. I assume got drunk because
that's
he's
what happened
always
to me
drunk.
too.
I mean, but what I'm saying is like he was with us with the planning. So Brandon bought all the tickets, then we all paid him, and this other person, I assume, then got drunk and forgot, and then booked a work gig that same day. So then when we texted, he was like, you guys always want to hang out when I have to work. And we were like, you said you wanted to come to this show like 8 months ago. And then he was like, oh yeah, I forgot. And then we had an extra ticket. So then Brandon ended up just giving it to some fucking guy in line. And
oh man, really?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
I know. I mean, it was good for that guy.
So I really could have gone for free, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Damn it!
And it was a great fucking show. I mean,
I love. You know what's
Iron
funny
Maiden,
is I can't remember what I even did that night. Can't even remember.
Well, I was gonna say about seats though, because I was talking about like, you were mentioning people like who were getting too into it, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing about having seats. You have your own little area.
Nobody gets into it.
First of all, you can sit down, and when your back starts hurting, you really like sitting down. And then like Iron Maiden played like a couple of my favorites. Like they played the song "Sign of the Cross," which is just like an epic, awesome fucking song with like just like it's got the perfect rhythm for just jumping up and down continuously. And I was just sitting there in my seat, just jumping up and down with it. The
right?
Sign of the Cross. Yeah, and fucking and like no one could fuck with me because I was in my area.
So like you're just like going wild and swinging your arms, like it's just like, sir, calm down. Like, no, I paid for this seat, and I'm just wiggling and moving however I want.
Yeah. Like when I saw Meshuggah, the other thing about having seats is you have.
See, you're lucky. You're lucky. You're such a thin guy. Being a big guy, you can't really like move that much in your seat.
Thanks for calling me thin.
Well, see, as being a big guy, everyone looks thin to me. Like, once you reach 300 pounds, everyone's thin at that point. Except for the other people who are like near your weight. You want to like talk to them. Like, how'd you get this? I don't even know how I got this big. How did you get that big? Where did you fail? Like, what happened? I know it's like I feel like maybe everyone has that kind of.
Probably.
In the back of their mind, like, where do they...
You're like, your first thought is, how'd you fail? Your second thought is like, dude, you know where there's a good hot dog stand around here?
Yeah. And then they know where one is.
Yeah. Who are you going to ask, right?
Where's the closest Waffle House? They know, right? They didn't have to look it up.
So, I guess it would be different if you have trouble fitting in an area, but the other thing about having your own seats is you have a place for your drink.
Sometimes at the concert, I have to buy 2 seats. I'm just kidding.
Like an airplane.
Just like a concert.
Kick you out. But dude, during Meshuggah, like, they're so fucking. Everyone who knows Meshuggah knows this, but like they're so fucking heavy, and the production live is so good. Like, I'm just sitting there having a fucking religious experience, dude. Like, my arms are up in the air. I like the way that, especially them, just the way the rhythms hit you. Like, I've done I've sat on a biofeedback bed one time, which is like something that they use in therapy. But like it basically like your ears play. You have your total sensory blackout. You can have like a visualization or not, and like they have in the headphones just like various little tones and rhythms, and then the bed vibrates along with those tones and rhythms. And when you get up, like, you just feel like $1 million, like, without doing any drugs at all. They use it in like substance abuse rehabs, and I've worked in one. But
sounds kind of fun.
It is cool. Anyway, Meshuggah is like that, dude.
Is anything like what's the Joe Rogan does it?
The float tank.
Yeah, is it anything like the float tank?
The effect. I love float tanks. The effect is.
I've tried the float tank once, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
I didn't float that well though. I think again, being a bigger guy, you're a little like, so you're gonna need two tanks.
Can you put some more water in this tank?
We need some more water for shampoo over here. No.
And
yeah. I also got completely naked.
I don't know if you're supposed to do that.
I think they said it's okay.
I think they tell women that so that they can videotape them.
Right. And then
they might have videotaped you. I just assume they have cameras on, so I kept my
I felt like, and they buzzed me right as things got really interesting too. So
did you take an edible or something?
No, just
this has gone off the rails in a good way.
Okay. So
in a great way. Anyway, my point being that
Meshuggah
gives you that fucking vibe, dude. Like it's like your whole body is vibrating. Because like they're all, Meshuggah's deal, they're all rhythm all the time, right?
Yeah.
And like and so like
it's like a drum circle kind of thing.
Yeah, except
like there's
for heavy.
Booga, 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 booga. It just gets a big flow. You're just okay, you're just kind of lost in it. It doesn't get me pumped up to like start punching people into a circle pit,
it's actually for the heaviest band on earth or whatever. Like it's really peaceful. I think like the people next to me were probably not there for Meshuggah. They were probably there for In Flames or just there to see a metal show just for the fuck of it. And I'm sitting there. I had one like just neat whiskey the whole time I was there. And I'm just like, my hands are up in there. I'm just like fucking feeling the music, just like a hippie at Woodstock. And point being, I was happy that I had a seat. I was seated.
In the mud.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I look down and my clothes are off. And
the guy had to slip in there at some point. I don't know. What was that? That was from something. Anyway.
But yeah, so being seated is the shit. Is my point. But you weren't for Mercyful Fate.
No.
How was Mercyful Fate? We talked about that on the previous.
Well, I was going to say about the seated thing though. The only problem with seated seats. When you're sitting in a seated seat, people in front of you tend to get up when they get excited. So now you have to get. It's almost like church. Remember, you ever been to church? Oh, you're Jewish. I forget.
We have
it's
something
like
a
synagogue.
We have something like church,
but church is more
just
like
you sacrifice a Christian baby in the middle of it. But it's basically church.
Right. That's the snack. It's like instead of the
it's kosher.
The cracker and the wine, you get the baby, the blood. Just kidding, everyone. Don't cancel us.
Yes, I remember being at synagogue before I stopped having to go.
If you ever go to
someone gets up in front of you,
go to a Catholic church or you get up every 5 seconds.
Oh,
do a hymnal, then you back down on your knees.
I do remember going to Catholic church.
You're back up again. You're up and down a lot. So I feel like that's kind of like when you're sitting in a seated seat. Like I said. You got to get up and down a lot. So it's almost like you have to stand anyway, but now you're standing in this awkward like place between you and the seat and the guy. Now I feel it's more crowded in. I don't know if I'm painting the picture here properly, but
Brad is squeezing himself into himself.
I just have a tough time in seats, okay?
Okay, well,
but
if we ever go to a show together, I'm getting the seats, you can go to the pit.
Or if we get seats, I'll get the edge seat so I can like leave my left leg out.
Well, dude, actually, I had that at Meshuggah, and it was just like there was just like a wall next to me, and I could just lean against it.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh yeah, it was wonderful.
That's the best. So Mercyful Fate.
Yes. They
played at the Tabernacle in Atlanta, so I actually went out of town for the show. I took a week off of work. I went up
because you saw family too, right?
I went to hung out with my family. Shout out to my cousins, Derek, Trey, Heath. Shout out. We shot some guns.
Hell yeah.
Not each other. That's some cans and stuff.
What kind of guns? I ask if I fucking am gonna understand the answer you give me. You can say anything.
The kind you hold in your hand.
What?
So just a pistol.
Okay.
Some kind of Beretta or
like
something.
A 40 cal or a 9 mil. I know what those are.
The funny is that everyone that I told, or like my whole family, like when my dad said, "Was that a 9 mil?" My mom said, "Was that a 9 mil?" My sister says, "Was that a 9 mil?" Just don't do the voice.
You're like, actually, this is the 10 mil.
Yeah,
it's newly renovated.
Well, when I made my first mill. But anyway, shooting guns was fun. I recommend it.
No,
I was
dude,
not I was not a gun shooter before, but after shooting some guns,
Did you have?
cool.
Did you guys have any like rifles or any?
no, just a handgun, trying out
Okay.
the pistol.
Yeah, no, dude, like I have a 40 cal, and I haven't been to the range in a long time, but it is a shitload of fun though.
Yeah, we should do that sometime.
Let's go.
What do you think? But what are you doing? No, I'm just kidding. We'll play this out after the show. But
There
anyway,
are some ranges that you could buy, like you can drink at too, like in Pasco County.
of course,
Of course.
the Grady Judd's waiting outside for you.
For anyone who doesn't know Pasco County, they're the place in the last episode that had the
Oh,
the giant
fish?
snails
The snails,
that the news
snails.
had to tell people not to eat. Anyway.
Yeah, so the Mercyful Fate. It was in Atlanta at the Tabernacle, which used to be a church.
Oh well, hence
Kind of
Tabernacle.
funny. I
Yeah.
think that's what I heard. Anyway, it was interesting the way they're.
Is it still kind of churchy at all?
No, not really. There was the general floor, standing room only, or whatever, was tilted down. So like the front row was like low compared to the back row was high. So like I guess everyone had a good view because it's tilted.
Okay, yeah. So that's strong of an angle.
So all the concert venue designers out there listening.
Well, what was moshing like with that situation?
Actually, it was good. The floor didn't have any slipperiness to it, like the crowbar, for example. If you spill a beer on the floor, at the crowbar, everyone's going down after that. But theirs was very resilient.
But even at the angle didn't
the
fuck
angle
anyone up.
didn't,
Who was
didn't
moshing?
it didn't affect it at all. There was an inordinate amount of walls of death at that show. Like Creator did it like 3 or 4 times. They're like, "Oh, why don't you do this again? You the guy over there. You guys get over there." Everyone's split
This time
down
I want
the
it to be
middle.
deathier and wallier.
And then when I count down from 4, I want you to do it again. And we're like, "This is the 5th time, bro. Like, some of us are dying out here."
Yeah, dude, fucking you came
Great show.
I bet you came with me. No, you didn't come with me, but you were there for Slayer on their farewell tour, right? When it was like at a field in Orlando. I don't even know where it was. Those were in the
like the Orlando Fairgrounds or something,
but it was like
terrible,
it was all general
terrible
admission.
Setup.
Well, I mean, the show was great. I had seen Slayer before, but the show was wonderful.
But the general
Anthrax Testament
was like mud, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but who was on it? It was Anthrax Testament.
Oh yeah. Slayer.
Well, Lamb of God was right before Slayer. They were kind of like the beer break.
Was it Anthrax Testament?
Yeah, it was. But who was the opener? Death metal, blackened death metal band. The guy turned into a hipster and had cancer. Behemoth, yeah. Behemoth opened it.
really, Behemoth opened that show?
If I recall correctly, it was Behemoth, then Testament, then Anthrax, then Lamb of God, which was the beer break.
If you know the real answer,
Slayer.
email us at
BradMarioPod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
But so you could say it was awful because it was muddy as fuck. But dude, that was like, because we grew up in like the 2000s and like we didn't get that old school metal experience at Slayer.
We didn't get to go to Woodstock 99.
We did not at Slayer.
Because you got away with anything.
Anything.
Everything.
Did you see the documentary?
Yeah. There was like a new documentary that came out, and there was 4 or 5 years ago. There's another documentary that I saw.
Well, what I didn't know.
How many documentaries do we need on this thing?
Anyway, what I was gonna say, and that's actually I should have written that down because that's a recent documentary that came out. But anyway, what I was
start a new podcast called
The thing
Doc
about Slayer
Talk.
was like, dude, it was like a field of just moshing people. The sound was great. The pyro was awesome. You could but the mosh pits were so big. You would start off like far away, and then like you get caught in a mosh, and then you get spit out, and you're like, oh fuck, there's Kerry King's fingernails. Like you get that close to the gate, and then the mosh would pick you up, and you'd be like, oh, I'm at the beer stand now, cool. And then and then it was muddy and uneven, and it was
I wasn't getting my shit muddied up,
dude. I was like, you know what, I'm getting old. But fuck, this is Slayer, dude.
Yeah.
And again, I had seen them before, but I think that was just at like the Tampa Fairgrounds, which was seated. So you just had to kind of sit there and like seat mosh.
Think about like 10 years ago. If we were like 10 years younger at that show, we probably would have like all have ridden together in one car, and we're like probably would have been mad drunk.
Well, the farewell tour wasn't 10 years ago. It was probably like 5 years ago.
I'm saying if we were 10 years younger
at
that show. I'm saying like we're old. Already old.
We were
guys.
already old. We're older now.
Not going to get in the pit. You know, we all drove our cars there. Like, but when you're a young kid in your 20s, you carpool with your buddies. You're all getting hammered on the way.
Oh yeah, you're crushing them up in the parking lot.
You're in the pit the entire show. You don't remember anything.
Oh yeah.
The car is a disaster afterwards. I remember, dude, it was kind of hard getting out of the parking lot.
I believe it.
Where I parked. Like you had to walk through some mud to your car. It was
well, it had rained like during the show or right before. It was just perfect.
Right.
Again, it was like an experience you're just not going to get.
I mean, it sucked for me though. It was a bad experience for me.
You had to work the next day, right?
Well, I worked that day, so I was only able to leave by 6. So I got there around 7.
Yeah.
So I missed the opening band. I
think you were there when Lamb of God was up there.
Yeah. And we could never get into a good spot to watch the show because, like you're saying, it was just one huge mosh pit in the mud.
Yeah.
So you had to like stand off to the side or the back.
Yeah, again, dude, I probably, even me now in my early 30s, probably feel the way you felt about it, but I was just at my peak. Like I was like, next month I'm not going to be able to do this, but right now I can still mosh like this.
Wait, you went in there?
Like I said, like you couldn't. Yeah, like I was like me and Mike and Mark and some other friends were just like.
Oh, you know what? Now I do remember that.
Yeah,
that you guys had been.
Like you didn't have a choice; you had to be in the pit. But like I had enough like whiskey and soda in me to make me able to do it, and then I was in pain the next day. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, that's a good wrap of. But one more concert I wanted to mention was the Napalm Death show at Crowbar.
Oh yeah, I wrote down. You said you saw Frozen Soul, Napalm Death, and
Broughdjsjdhfhde. I don't even know. They're like a South American, Mexican kind of band. A Latino.
Oh, okay. There's probably a J that sounds like an H in there somewhere.
Dan Santana was there. Shout out to Dan Santana, former bassist of Rip Torn.
Before I was a former bassist of Rip Torn.
Yeah. But
Rip Torn's had several former bassists.
His cousin were out there, and his buddy. So we hung out. It was like me and my buddy Josh went. Shout out to Josh.
How was Napalm Death? I mean, I'm sure they were.
Napalm Death was great though. So Shane Embry, I think, the bassist Napalm. That's his side project, Broughdjsjdhfhde.
Oh, okay.
So they're pretty well-known, established band, but I've never really listened to them.
Frozen Soul, what's that?
They were the best band though. Frozen Soul is a newer death metal band, kind of a bolt thrower worship kind of.
Okay.
They sound a lot like bolt thrower, I guess. That's why I like them.
Neat.
I like that influence. I like that sound. So, but yeah, I got in the pit for them. And, just at this age though, I was wrecked the next day. Absolutely just.
How are your knees after it?
Oh, this left one has definitely been through something. I'm getting every now and then I get like a weird twitch or a pain. I'm like, whoa. In a couple of years, that at one point it's just going to go out. I think. I don't know. Lots
of people get knee surgery.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah, mine click, but I can still walk. So,
so we've seen some concerts.
Yeah, well, including.
But we've also seen some stand-up shows.
Yeah,
we're 50 minutes in, finally getting to the Todd Barry show.
We saw Todd Barry.
The big news, we saw the mighty Todd Barry.
Which, Brad, you had been trying to see him for how many years now? Like it kept getting canceled?
3 fucking years.
Like did you have the tickets and they just kept postponing them?
I bought the tickets, like 3 years ago, and it's kind of ironic. Like I bought them with the intention of taking certain people. And I've waited so long that those people are actually no longer really a part of my life. They wouldn't even want to go at this point. So that's why
I've been waiting for a couple friendship cycles.
Yeah. But the original people who intended to go, we just don't really hang that much.
They moved on. They don't enjoy things anymore.
Yeah. So I had 3 tickets available. So I invited you and whoever you wanted. So you brought.
Yeah. So my fiance Julia came, and then our mutual friend Miles came. Miles, shout out to Miles. He told me that he actually listened to this podcast. Yeah.
Our one listener.
Yeah,
Miles, shout out to you, sir. If you're still listening to this at this point.
Yeah, this is
God bless you.
We got to have him on sometime. He's one of our fellow fans of comedy and metal, except for he's actually like legit doing the comedy thing, like legit, like getting featured on shows and shit.
I can't speak for you, Mario, but for myself, my main inspiration at this point Like the one person that we know who's actually doing comedy.
Yeah.
It's Miles, and he's like actually getting good at it. So
yeah. Well, not only that. So I made
we just
another.
need to like grab on his coattails.
I made another friend.
And ride.
I was trying to actually make a joke about this, but like, when was the last time you made a friend? I'm not talking like.
Oh, I've actually made several friends in the past year.
What?
Yeah.
But it's weird, isn't it? Like, how do you do it?
Well, Mario, let me tell you how it works.
I mean, like,
first you get $1,000, then you give it to me. Honestly, I've gotten back into Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
So I've been meeting people through that.
So yeah, so that is how you do it, right? Like you make friends
stuff,
by getting into a new thing,
yeah,
and diving into it. And so we were, and I haven't lately, but you and I were both going out to open mic nights to try out comedy, and like like I was doing okay, and then like the last couple times I tried, it was just brutal, man. So like I haven't been doing it so much, but I did make a friend. Shout out to Corey Hilliard. He recently opened for Don Jameson at Side Splitters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like this week. So I forget what the point was. First of all, I thought it would be a funny joke.
We should get a producer to like get on the computer.
Yeah, we need
like,
a Jamie.
Google stuff for us. Or a Nadav.
But yeah, so I thought it'd be a funny joke to be like, I made a friend. I don't know what to do. Like, what do you do? Like, do you invite him over? Like, do you make plans for brunch? Like, what do new friends do? Right. I don't even know.
That's the hardest thing is first right off the bat, like, how do you just invite somebody over to your house out of pro of nothing?
Yeah.
Like,
you have to have like a thing going on, but then you don't want to sound like you made a thing just so you could get that person over to your house.
Well, there's a certain level of desperation needed for sure.
So there's
that Corey?
Whoa, that dude. He looks kind of like a lesbian. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
yeah, I remember him now. He was at the.
He's been at some of the open mics we've been at.
Yeah.
He's got a great bit about Epperson Lagoon.
He was the Lightning fan. Like he was going to the game or something like that. Yeah.
But anyway,
now he's got another friend.
And so, okay, this is like too funny to not say out loud. So you asked me to pull him up, and like literally on my friends' searches, he was the first name up on the top. I swear I'm not obsessed with this guy.
So where's he like to hang out?
Well, okay, let me tell you. But anyway, so
you got
roundabout way of saying that we saw Todd Barry.
Yeah. Oh, right. We were talking about Todd Barry. So
because Miles came with us, and Miles is actually fucking kicking ass at comedy.
Yeah, and he's our inspiration. So keep going, Miles.
Yeah.
But I mean, will he ever get to Todd Barry's level, though?
I don't know.
That's the question.
Hope so.
Because Todd Barry is a master.
He was great. What was your favorite? Do you remember a favorite? Okay, I thought this was funny. We were talking about us getting older. So me, you, and Miles, we each ordered Miles and I each got coffee, like because Side Splitters 2-drink minimum or 2-item minimum, right?
Yeah.
Miles and I each got coffee. You got like a Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then my fiance, who's a couple of years younger, was the only person who got an alcoholic drink.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. And I was like, I kind of felt it hit me in a kind of weird way. Not judgmental about her at all. Judgmental about me and like all of us. It was a 5:00 show. Here we are, these old men at a 5:00 show going, you know what I need? I need caffeine. Yeah, you can hold the liquor.
That 10 years younger thing.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I would have been like 2-drink minimum. Fuck you. Give me a bucket.
I've been like, I'll be at the bar at 3 getting ready for the 5:00 show.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we'd be down in drinks and like, dude, you know what's so cool though? It's like as we were walking in to get our tickets checked, Todd Barry just like popped out and stood right there next to the concierge.
Oh yeah, you pointed him out. I missed him.
I'm just standing there. I'm like standing there looking right at Todd Barry, just standing there right next to me.
Yeah.
And I look over at you guys.
Lock eyes?
I looked over at you. I just looked at you guys, and you're all like, "Oh," and I'm like, "That's Todd Barry over there." Like,
I remember you making a funny face and me not knowing why you were making a funny face.
But But my favorite joke that night was his first one, I think, where he's said, he's like, I should have canceled again. Like, he's just like, the first thing he says, I should have canceled again. This five, and he started riffing about the 5 o'clock show.
There was a 5, yeah.
Which I agreed with him on that. I mean, I was kind of disappointed. I was originally going to see him at like a 7 p.m. nighttime show.
Where we would have maybe gotten one alcoholic drink.
Yeah, at least one.
I got the Cuban sandwich. Shout out to the Side Splitters on Dale Mabry. Good? It was decent.
Everything else there is kind of...
It's not hard.
It's been meh, in my opinion.
It's easy to make a Cuban sandwich.
Yeah. They're not known for their food. Like,
Miles got the flan, and I remember thinking, classy fucking choice, dude.
Yeah, I thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah, because like he said something, and he was like, I'm going to get the coffee, and I was like, cool, you do you. If I had heard him say flan, I probably would have gotten the flan, too. I didn't know they had flan, because I never assumed the place has flan. I'm a flan fan. I'm a flan fan. Are you a flan fan? A flan fan?
What's going on? Are you ordering flan?
Remember that movie Envy with
Jack Black and Ben Stiller?
Yeah, at the end he gets rich by he gets rich by inventing pocket flan. You ever on the go? You just wish you had flan with you? It's pocket flan.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
That was a fantastic movie.
But I thought he was good. Todd Barry was good. His opener guy was pretty good.
I don't remember his name, but I remember liking him.
Yeah, sorry, opener guy.
So my favorite joke of Todd Barry's, though, it was like a side joke, but it was when he was talking about someone saying that their doctor told him some crazy shit, and he goes, "Yeah, did your doctor tell you that while he was working on your back?"
All right.
It's about time people started calling out chiropractors for their bullshit.
That was good.
Hey folks, this episode went a bit long, so we cut it in half. If you're enjoying it, meet us over at episode 5. Bye.